Hello, my name is Ajan John, and today I am going to check and improve this student's essay. You can see the essay question and the student's answer printed below, and the areas I have highlighted in bold either have mistakes or I am going to make some improvements. May I also remind you that if you are listening to this on YouTube, you can click on subtitles or transcript to see the printed text. This is not always accurate, but I will repeat difficult words or spell them. I would also suggest that you may read through the essay first before you listen to my editing. My objective here is to improve the student's essay to get the highest grades in IELTS or TOEFL, and I will do this in two ways. Firstly, by correcting mistakes, and secondly by making improvements, probably by adding vocabulary and detail. So let's begin and look at paragraph 1. In my opinion, studying abroad is the best way to improve English skills. For example, I studied at Sapanya School, which is a government school, and the English language teaching there was not very good. Now the next part of the sentence is grammatically correct, but it doesn't make any sense as a continuation of the previous sentence. We're not clear why the student is mentioning Assumption University. She says that she discovered when she went to this university that her English was not very good. So I think maybe her intention is to say that this university had a much higher level of English, and only then did she become aware that her English was not so good. So let me change the last part of the first paragraph. So government school and the English language teaching was not very good. However, I only discovered this when I moved to Assumption University, which had a far higher level of English, and I could not compete with the other students. So that makes the point quite clear now. Moving on to paragraph 2. While I studied at this university, I found that many of my friends could speak English well because they had been exchange students either in the United States of America or the United Kingdom. When you talk about America or the UK, you need to say the United States of America and the United Kingdom. The next sentence, we do not need next at the beginning of the sentence. We can begin, also some of my friends had studied in Australia for 1 year before coming back to study at this university. Let's move on to paragraph 3. Now we don't need moreover here because the topic in paragraph 3 is different from paragraph 2. Paragraph 2 tells us that the students at this university had better English because they had studied abroad, and paragraph 3 is going to tell us more about how they learned abroad, so it's a different topic. So let's begin paragraph 3. My friends told me that studying abroad led them to make many new friends, both Asian and European. I think we should have a full stop after European. So we don't want to use the word so. We begin the next sentence. They exchange their cultures and experiences through the medium of the English language, and this greatly improved their English skills. I've added the point that their English skills improved because they were learning about each other using English. This is not made clear by the writer. I think this would also be a good point to give a story, giving more detail. So where I have put a number of ones, we can tell a short story. One friend, for example, had a boyfriend in Australia, and they used to go out together almost every day. She met his family, went to see movies, ate out in restaurants together, and all this time using English, full stop. And she told me she had never expected to have so much English practice in only a short time living in Australia. So with that last sentence, I have introduced the past perfect, which will get you higher marks. And the last sentence, all of the above examples illustrate that studying abroad is extremely useful to improve English skills. Paragraph 4. On the other hand, I am one, no another here, I am one who did not go to study abroad, and I chose to study in my hometown at Assumption University in Thailand. I remember that this university gave me a great deal of knowledge about English, and especially business English skills. I am changing business experience to business English skills because the writer is trying to show here how they improved their English skills. Business is not really relevant, only insofar as it is connected with English. Paragraph 5. Firstly, my English teacher was from the USA, and he told me that if I wanted to be good at English or at the English language. Now the next phrase, the writer is using an analogy, but it is not very clear. She is obviously talking about crossing the river as an example of overcoming your fear, but the analogy, the example is not clear, so let me change it. If you want to be good at English, he told me, you have to overcome your fear. Like a man afraid to cross a deep river, if you do not dare to cross, you will not reach the other side and your goal. That's quite a complicated example, and I would probably advise students not to try this. It's probably a bit too difficult. Remember, this is an English exam, and your most important purpose is to, your most important objective is to show high quality English, rather than to give good examples and good explanations. If you try to get too sophisticated, you may make mistakes. Next sentence. In addition, he taught me to listen to songs, watch movies, and try to speak in the same way as the actors or singers. I'm making a few changes here because the writer's ideas are not clear. Listening to songs can help your English, but listening to music will not. and after you watch movies, maybe you try to copy the way in which the actors have spoken. Next sentence: furthermore, he taught me to develop my English by pursuing my interests in such topics as history, entertainment, and movies. Again, I'm making some changes there to make the idea clearer. I think the writer is trying to say that she improved her English by pursuing, P-U-R-S-U-I-N-G, interests in subjects which required English, such as history and movies. So the last part of the sentence after movie we do not need. Last paragraph: in conclusion, if you are not sure which way to choose, you can choose to study a double degree where 1 year is spent S-P-E-N-T in Thailand, and 1 year is spent in the UK, USA, Australia, Canada, or Switzerland. Okay, the essay is quite well written, has good content. I think the student has answered the question well, giving examples of how both going abroad and staying at home can be good for your English. Her mistakes are mostly about structure and grammar, but I think I am seeing a significant improvement in her writing, and with the changes which I have suggested, this essay should get between 8 and 9 in IELTS. Finally, don't forget, this is for the writer to write in all the changes to make sure you understand everything I have done, and help you to remember your mistakes and make improvements. Okay, well done, a good essay, and good luck with your next assignment.